Welcome to Basic Money Talk. My name's Rich. This is the podcast about simple financial advice and everyday money matters. I'm going to keep these episodes short and sweet so you can get on with your day. Thanks again for joining me.
Sometimes we stress and too much we think.
All right. How you doing today? I'm doing all right. I hope you are too. Hey, if you like that song at the beginning, that is my music. You can check it out. I play guitar and make my own music. You can find my music out there. It is under Rich Bean, bean like a string bean. Just search for me and you'll find my music. Thanks so much. So today I wanted to talk about getting laid off. I was thinking about this morning. You know how when you get up in the morning and your mind slowly starts to get up to speed and start racing and you think about random things. And for whatever reason, I started thinking about what it's like getting laid off and how it happened to me in the past. That was a while ago. So getting laid off, this is an important subject because it could happen to you. It could happen to someone you love, someone you know. It may have happened to you. I hope it doesn't happen to you. So let's get into it. So I hope it doesn't happen to you, but it does happen. This has happened to me about 3 times in my life so far. I've worked mostly in the software business, so this is a part of that business actually. And so getting laid off is a part of life these days. Unfortunately, it's more common. If you have a job where it's not common, that's fantastic. You know, a lot of jobs like teachers, firefighters, policemen, government workers, they can have some jobs for their whole life and they're content with that and fulfilled and happy. They don't have to worry about getting laid off, and that's fantastic. It doesn't happen as much these days as it used to. When we were younger, we always used to hear about job security. At least that's what I heard a lot about. So my parents' generation, they had jobs where they had job security, and that was an important thing. And to be honest, job security is great, but it's just not it's just not there anymore. It's just slowly dwindling away. It's the way the world works. It's all about money and business, and things are just changing all the time. If you got laid off, I'm so sorry. It's a horrible thing to go through. Talk to therapists and you'll learn that it's right up there with getting a divorce. It's a pretty big thing. If you handled it well, then that's fantastic. But it's a traumatic experience. Your job is your identity. You do it every day. You invest in it. Your family invests in it. You depend on it. So when you get laid off through no fault of your own, it's a real bummer. It sucks. It sucks. I went through it a couple times, and if you do go through this, I want you to know that it's temporary. You get through it. Life goes on. You get another job, and you'll look back someday from the future, and you'll say, okay, that sucked, and I learned from it. Look at it as a learning opportunity. That's what I think. So if you do get laid off, this sucks. Be kind to yourself, or be kind to a person that's going through this. It stinks. It's scary. You don't know what's happening next. So all sorts of things go through your mind. The experience of how you got laid off might be worse on some people than on others. So that's part of it. The first thing you have to realize is that it's all about money and nothing else. When I was younger and I was in a company and I would see people get laid off, in my mind, I somehow thought I was lucky they didn't pick me, or maybe I'm a good worker, or, you know, you'd like to think why it didn't happen to you and you're grateful. But it's really just all about money. That's what you have to remember. Basically what happens is the company has to cut expenses. This happens for a number of reasons. Maybe they're restructuring, maybe their business is failing, maybe they're not good business people, maybe the economy has taken a turn for the worse, maybe there's more competition, recession, that's a big reason why layoffs happen. What happens basically is the investors are scared and they want to protect their investment, so they order that the company cut expenses and find a way to do it. Then what happens is some manager or some executive, they come up with a bright idea of how to cut expenses and who to lay off. They figure out how to reorganize. Unfortunately, a lot of people take advantage of this, and it's a political showdown, and they want to get themselves into a better position of power and more money. It just really sucks, and it's where a lot of people thrive, unfortunately, in this world. Just know that it's just all about money. Sometimes you look at the people who made these decisions about laying you off and you figure, oh, gee, they have more money, they make this salary, why don't they have to worry about it? You know, they may make more money than you, but they have the same problems, probably more. Okay, they just have more expenses and they're probably not good at handling their money. So don't ever think that, you know, a boss or a manager or a CEO is living the life because they have more money than you. They probably work 18 hours a day. Who knows? So you just never know what's going on behind the scenes. So just remember that it's all about money. It's not personal. Sometimes it can be personal because you were picked and someone's got it out for you, or, you know, they were happy to get rid of you because they didn't agree with you, or, you know, you kind of showed them up a little bit. You know what? You're better off not being there. You're better off in a position where you're appreciated and you're working with good people that get along. That's what you have to remember. The next thing is someone comes up with a list of people of who to cut and who to let go of. They bring that list to HR, and HR consults with the lawyers, and they figure where is their risk because they don't want to get sued. As an employee, you have rights, discrimination rights based on your age, your race, your sex, all sorts of things to consider. So they have to look at that. So you might be on a list where you're going to get cut because it's less of a risk for them. You might be on a list where you're not going to get cut because it's a liability for the company. So those are the decisions that are made. It's really business and liability for the company. They're trying to save money, and that's it. No matter what you hear, that's all it is at the end of the day. If this happens and you get a severance package, that's fantastic. Tuck it away. Try and treat it as a gift and see if you can hold on to it. The next thing you have to do is check out the unemployment for your state. What are your unemployment options? In my state, it's pretty generous. I think you get paid up to 66% of your salary and maxes out. That's pretty good. If you make some sacrifices, you can make that work depending on your situation. Other states I've heard are not that good, and there might be a wait list, or the process you have to go through to apply may take longer. So while we're talking about this, take some time today or tomorrow. Look at your state's unemployment site. See what the process is like. Then you'll know if you ever lose your job, this is what will happen, and this is how much you'll be covered for and how long it will last. That's a huge relief. When I first looked at that and I wasn't worried about losing my job, I could say, oh, gee, if I got laid off, I'll get this much money and I'll be okay for a while. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. Unemployment insurance is paid for by the employers and the state. It's just managed by the federal government. But it's an important thing. It protects us. And if you're an employee, don't be afraid to use that. You may sign a document that says you won't sue the company if you take a severance package. Do not be scared by that. Go ahead and file for unemployment. Tell them you signed that document. It might not be a big deal. You can still probably start collecting right away. No, first off, you know what? Take a couple days to yourself, collect your thoughts. If I didn't say that, I should have. Take a couple days to yourself and just collect your thoughts and be kind to yourself, okay? It's not often you get a break in the cycle and the routines. Go for a trip if you need to. You're not going to get a job within the next 2 weeks anyway, so take advantage of this time. I should have started with that. So go ahead and look at your finances next. You know, what do you have and how much longer do you have before you need to replace that income? That's what you need to know. All right. Hopefully you got a little bit of buffer. This is a great reason to have an emergency account. We'll talk about that in another episode. Some money on the side for when this happens. But hopefully you got some unemployment. Hopefully you got a little bit of time. But you want to know what your time range, that just takes off more pressure so you're not worrying. Okay. Now you know this is how much time I have to get a new job, and you're ready to move to the next step. You need to update your resume, start applying for jobs. Indeed.com is my favorite. It's this cool website that just aggregates all the jobs from all the other sites every day, so you can see them all, spend time, learn how to filter and find the right jobs. Reach out to your network. That's supposed to be the best thing. I always hear, sometimes it's worked for me, but I always hear, reach out to your network. Tell them you're looking. A friend might know of an opening, and usually a referral from someone is going to help you get that job much easier than someone coming off the street. So keep that sort of thing in mind. Be patient. A job search takes a while. Hopefully you get one in a few weeks, but it can take a while. But be patient. It will happen. You'll get through this. When you do come across a job and you get invited to go through the interview process, good luck. That can also suck. These days, they want you to interview for 4 hours with 8 people. It's like, I don't know why your resume even matters. So you go through that process. Now think about, what didn't you like at the last company that let you go and treated you horribly anyways, right? Think about that when you're interviewing for this next company. Who are the people? What are they like? Ask some probing questions. What happened to the last person? Why is this position open? Take advantage of this opportunity. Maybe you have the chance to take a job that's a lot different than the last job, and you've been thinking about that. So use this opportunity. It can be scary. I've been through it. I've completely switched jobs, and it's scary at the beginning, but it worked out, and I'm much happier for it. If you've gone through the interview process and you get a job offer, do not be afraid to negotiate. This can be scary. I know. A lot of people have never done this. Do not be afraid to try this. So when you go for a job, you need to do your research. What is the salary range for that job? That stuff is easy to find also. Okay. Now you know. When an interviewer asks you what your salary is, you're going to give them a range, the range that's out there on the market, not a number. Your goal is to win them over and get that job. That's all you want to do. When they've made their decision and you're the one, maybe you and another person, they're going to come at you with an offer. Give them some great reasons of why you're the right fit, why you're really excited about this job, and then say, you know what, I was hoping for an add 10%. See what happens. They're just probably going to say no. They're not going to waste their investment and start all over. I've heard that some people get their offers retracted, but I think it depends on how you play it. Worst case scenario is they'll say no, this is the offer. Great, you got the job. So when you get that next job, congratulations. Again, I hope you don't go through this. I hope you never get laid off. I hope no one you know gets laid off, but it does happen. It's a sucky part of life. I hate these things, but it's stuff we have to deal with. So if you talk it through now, right, and you think about it, it's less scary when it happens and it doesn't catch you off guard, okay? So take some time, look at your state's unemployment site, see how it pays and what the process is. So if that ever happens to you, you're ready, all right? And talk about it with other people. It's a good conversation. It's important, all right? Don't forget to check out my website, basicmoneytalk.com. I have a cool course called Modern Money Management. Share that with people you know or people you think might be interested. It's only $25. It's only 20 minutes. You can learn it at your own pace, and it gives you some great tips on how to manage your money and make life easier. Thanks for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. I enjoy these talks. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.